This is the 2018 Origin Millennium, and as you might have guessed from all the lights, it's a gaming desktop. And even though it's early in the year, this is already the gaming desktop to beat. Our review unit here features an 8th generation Intel Core i7 8700K processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 512 gigabyte Samsung 960 Pro SSD, a 6 terabyte Western Digital Red hard drive, and not one but two NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti graphics cards running in SLI. All that powerful hardware is contained within a custom-built chassis clad in cherry red aluminum and smoky tempered glass. Our review unit as spec'd would run you about $4,530. That's a hefty price tag, but Origin has a track record of delivering killer high-end machines, and the Origin Millennium definitely upholds that tradition. The side panels are custom-cut panes of smoked glass with smooth, chamfered edges. Both side panels swing open on well-oiled hinges like the glass door on a vintage stereo system. There's one of these doors on both sides of the case, so the interior where your graphics cards reside is just as easily accessible as the rear side where the Origin's cable management keeps the interior looking nice and clean. The interior lighting is subtle, but just present enough with an LED strip along the back edge of the case and the top edge. The light strips are hidden by the tempered glass panel when it's shut, allowing the light to diffuse throughout the interior of the case. There are a few lights on the motherboard from the G-Skill RAM and the Asus ROG motherboard itself, but nothing overpowers or clashes the customizable lighting from the LED strips. Like most desktops with interior lighting strips, the Origin ships with a little controller you can use to change the color, the pattern, the pulse or flash speed. There are a few built-in lighting modes, but nothing particularly noteworthy. Still, it's a very nice addition. Speaking of the more utilitarian features, the Origin Millennium ships with a cherry red aluminum side panel, just in case you're uncomfortable with having two tempered glass side panels and want something a little more kick resistant. On the back side of this desktop, you're not going to find any big surprises. The I/O panel is exactly what you'd expect. On the motherboard, there are 7 USB ports, a display port, an HDMI port, 2 coax plugs for the included Wi-Fi fin. Below the Ethernet port, you'll find a standard array of audio input and output jacks. You might expect to find the power and reset buttons under the red metal plate on the front, but they're actually on top underneath a little plastic thing that slides up. For a system so chock full of powerful hardware, the interior is remarkably open and airy. The layout here is clearly designed to look clean, but that cleanliness serves an important purpose. Cable management here is simple, precise, and most importantly, it makes sense. Everything's placed with purpose. The zip ties keep cables out of the way, bundled together without obstructing the view of your fancy graphics cards. On the other side, where cables can traditionally get a little messy, the Origin Millennium keeps things neat and tidy. Cables are bundled together and snaked through the front side without getting twisted, tangled, or losing their clarity of purpose. Open the back for the first time and it's easy to see what goes where and why. It all makes sense, which makes your job a little easier down the road when you're looking to swap components or upgrade. The processor is one of the first components you're likely to notice on the Origin Millennium spec sheet. It's an Intel Core i7 8700K, an unlocked 8th generation processor, and the first we've seen in a gaming desktop. The i7 8700K is a very quick processor, but its greatest strength is its multi-core performance. During our tests, the Millennium easily beat out 2 other desktops running overclocked i7 7700K processors. The lead widens to a significant degree when it comes to a real-world test, a 4K video encode. The Millennium finished the encode in just over 3 minutes, shaving over 1.5 minutes off the best times we got out of 2 other high-end gaming desktops with 7th generation processors. It's an impressive margin, and it proves that this isn't just a processor that does well in benchmarks, it's fast enough that you're going to feel it on a daily basis. The Origin Millennium as a premium gaming desktop features 2 hard drives. One is a lightning-quick 512GB Samsung 960 Pro SSD, the other is a much slower, much larger 6 terabyte Western Digital Red hard drive. That Samsung 960 Pro SSD comes with a read speed of about 2,753 megabytes per second and a write speed of about 1,972 megabytes per second during our tests. It shouldn't come as a surprise that the Origin Millennium just obliterates our 1080p benchmarks. After all, a dual 1080 Ti setup is a bit overkill for humble 1080p, where even mid-range systems can hit high frame rates without too much difficulty. In Battlefield 1, for instance, the Millennium hit 189 frames per second on average at maxed out detail settings. Predictably, we saw performance fall a bit as we upped the challenge, cranking the settings up to 1440p. In Battlefield 1, the Origin Millennium beat out the competition by a sizable margin, coming in with an average of 167 frames per second. At 4K, the Millennium managed an impressive 107 FPS in Battlefield 1 with all the settings maxed out. So if you're looking for a 4K gaming powerhouse, the Millennium is probably your best bet. The Origin Millennium is an absolutely stellar gaming desktop. It matches or beats the closest competition in pretty much every category, and it's pretty much the most PC you can buy. But let's be honest, at $4,530, it absolutely should be a killer gaming PC. Ordering one of these, you're going to end up with a powerful gaming rig that can make short work of even the most demanding games. But is it worth your time and money? If you're in the market for a gaming desktop and you have enough room in your budget for a $4,500 gaming PC, then you should absolutely buy the Origin Millennium. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better gaming desktop. This thing is excellent in pretty much every way that a gaming desktop should be.